Alright guys, today I'm bringing you an action figure review of the Ghostbusters Plasma Series Hasbro Dan Aykroyd Legend Ray Stantz action figure. So before we take a look at this really cool figure, we will take a look at the packaging he comes in. So here's the packaging for Ray Stantz. You can see the nice cloth looking material, Ghostbusters symbol, Stantz Plasma Series, far and up, Hasbro. On the top you can see the zipper going. On the bottom you can see some danger stuff, or no, manufactured by Hasbro and barcode and made in China, so nothing with danger. Just used to that, I guess. And then the different art on the side, which is pretty cool. You can see the proton pack, and then the attention at the bottom, danger. See all the other figures in the wave, and I love how you can see this little wire connected to the character that you purchased. On the top you can see Ray Stantz, the heart of the team. Ray's ready and more than willing to bust some ghosts. Cool. You can see the Build-A-Figure Vince Clortho, all the other figures, Build-A-Figure, another symbol, and then some warnings on the bottom, each sold separately, yada yada yada, and some nice package art. Then Ray comes with one different accessory than the rest of the characters. This is defining accessory, I guess. It is a pair of goggles, which I think he wears in the movie, but I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've watched it. But they're very nicely detailed. They're just a flat green with some silver on the end of these little goggles here. And they look nice. And most importantly, they fit on his head. And you can see here the little nose piece on the bottom, so you know which end goes up and which end goes down. The one thing I was curious about too when I actually purchased this was, do the goggles kind of like go on his forehead at all without looking awkward? And the answer is I don't know, not really. I mean, you can kind of have them like go on his hair there, and I guess that kind of looks okay, but it's still not satisfying to me. Now, his last accessory is one that every figure comes with, every one of the Ghostbusters, the proton pack. And it is very nicely detailed, obviously, and I just want to point out that it is different from all the other Ghostbusters proton packs. I did notice that there are 4 circles on the back here, and each one has a different circle painted red. For instance, here's Zedeman. His is painted on the right side. Stantz is painted on the bottom left, but it's a bit dark, so you might not be able to see that. For instance, we can grab Harold Ramis here. You can see the top left one is painted, and then on Bill Murray, Venkman, you can see the top right is painted red. So that's kind of neat. Otherwise, they're pretty much completely the same. Maybe I'm not noticing something small, though. Let me know in the comments down there. Otherwise, it's virtually exactly the same. All the very nice detail all throughout the different painted straps and wires and reds and blues and all the silver throughout. The gun is really cool. That's also painted very nicely. And then the straps are just a flat green, which they are in the movie for the most part. So pretty accurate. And those are pretty cool too, especially considering the straps are removable. So what you want to do here is lift his arms up. You can see here it pops off. And Stantz's pack kind of has a tendency to fall off because it almost looks like his stomach is a little bit bigger than the rest of these guys. Maybe it's just me, but that is what I am noticing. Let me know if I'm just seeing things here. But his pack definitely has a harder time staying on than the rest of these guys. However, it does stay on if you fidget with it enough. So you want to pull this peg out in the back here, and yes, there is a peg, so that's very nice. Little port in his back. You can just slide it up easy, and if you want to put it back on, just do the same thing and peg it into his back, and then you can mess around with this until it stays on. But I promise you, it can be kind of irritating. At least with my figure. Maybe it's different with yours, but with mine, it's kind of a pain in the ass. So we'll slide this off here, and you can see he is now packless. Now, one of the main things with Ray here is, can he hold this little proton blaster? We'll see. If he's anything like Venkman, which I messed with not long ago, he might not be able to super well. However, once you do get him to hold it after fidgeting with it for quite a while, it does look decent. So I'm going to show you guys my struggle. I'll let you watch. And I should mention too, the little wire here is different from Venkman's. Venkman's has a little loop or like a wrap on the end of it there. So you can see his does not. As for the other Ghostbusters, I think they're pretty much the same as Stantz for the most part. So it's cool. I absolutely love all this, and you can disconnect that if you want to. Personally, I don't really see any reason to, unless you're displaying it and you can kind of take a picture from the front and hide it. Now, that was my other complaint with Venkman too. When you tilt these hands down, they have a tendency to not want to stay all the way down and kind of just pop back up. It feels kind of useless. So you can get a tiny bit of movement there, so you can display him all nice. The joints are pretty freaking stiff too, so I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to heat this guy up. Oh, see that? There it is, folks. You saw it. I didn't even do anything. So I'll kind of pop that back in there. And what you want to do too is maybe get a toothpick or something. That's what I did originally, so I could just kind of pop this peg out of there. But my nail seems to be working right now. Okay. So he's still holding it for the most part. And you can see here there's different grips on the gun for his fingers, so you know where his hands are supposed to be placed. And these are really a pain in the ass for these guys to hold. It doesn't help too, there's a freaking hinge going like this. The hell, man. It would be nice if it went back and forward, you know. But whatever. It's a $20 figure, man. Can't be crazy picky, but that's really not hard to do. They could have added that piece of articulation. If you're gonna have a hinge, just do it right, you know. Otherwise, I mean, some people might like that though. However, okay, let's see here. Come on. We can just kind of slide this into this hand. If you want to skip ahead in the review, you're more than welcome to, and I'll tell you, and you'll see how this goes. But we're pretty much done here. That's about as good as it's probably going to get. You can turn him to the side here and have him blast. As you get his arm forward a little more. Yeah, that's alright. That worked. Oh, see, it fell out again. Honestly, you can probably kind of just place his hand on the end there, so it looks like it's on it, but it's really not. It's not even gripping it. So, I mean, you can get them to hold it, but geez, it takes freaking quite a while. I had this double jointed elbow fully being utilized, completely utilized, and still it's not too great. So, I mean, there you go. It does work, but you gotta mess with it for a while, and the pose isn't very natural looking in my opinion. It isn't really fluid. It just kind of looks kind of just awkward, man. So there you go. But for I will say, for the most part, it looks pretty cool. Still looks cool, but it takes a minute. It's kind of frustrating. So probably the most vital aspect of this figure, the one that really makes or breaks him, is the face sculpt. Now, it is using the photoreal technology, I believe, and it looks, in my opinion, a hell of a lot like Dan Aykroyd. Obviously, it isn't like completely perfect. There's a couple parts that look kind of goofy, like his nose almost looks like it's kind of upturned a little awkwardly, in my opinion. But aside from that, he looks fantastic. The eyebrows raised a little bit. That's a nice touch. At least it looks like it's supposed to be. And everything's great, man. I really like this head sculpt. The tone of the skin is just fantastic, in my opinion. It definitely is just remarkable. It is strikingly Dan Aykroyd, Stantz from the film. The only aspect of this head sculpt that I think kind of sucks is the paint bleeding off of the hair here. You can see it just kind of comes around, but it's not too noticeable. Otherwise, this head sculpt is pretty great, man. I think it definitely looks a lot like Dan Aykroyd. I'm very impressed with it. So pretty much all these Ghostbusters have the same exact sculpts as in terms of their body. They're all pretty much the same. As you can see here, you have Spengler. Here we have Zetterman. And then I can pull in Bill Murray here. Zetterman's kind of blocked by his little proton stream, steam, whatever you want to call it. You can see Bill Murray. And these guys here share the same upper bodies. However, there are two figures that differ from the rest, and in small aspects, at least that I've noticed. Comment below if you've noticed more ways you can differentiate between the two, the four guys. But the boots on these guys are all the same. Same lower body. Venkman's different. All the upper bodies are the same. Stantz's sticks out a little more in the belly area. And those are the only things that really differ with all these guys. Otherwise, all the sculpts are the same. Are the belts a little different? I think they are in the slightest way. Maybe no. His belt is just pushed over. Pretty much everything is exactly the same. But I mean, they wear the same outfits. What did you expect? So the only spot that I think they should have differed is probably, or at least for the most part, they probably should have differed in height. Because there is a bit of height variation between the 4 Ghostbusters for the most part. I mean, maybe it's pretty subtle. I'm pretty sure, I googled it, and it said Ernie Hudson is 6 foot, Bill Murray's 6'2", I believe Harold Ramis is 6'3", I could be wrong about that. I think Dan Aykroyd is like 6 foot exactly. Let me Google it here. I'm pretty sure he is 6 foot, right? Yes. It says he's 6 foot. But who knows how accurate Google is with this shit? I don't know. I have to watch the movie again. But it would have been nice to see a bit of, some different parts in the sculpts. Everything's pretty much exactly the same in the suits except, just really subtle things like his belly's a bit bigger and Venkman's boots are different than the rest. But those are nice touches and it shows that they do care about making them a little bit different. So that's cool and all. Otherwise, taking a look at this guy, he's pretty much the same exact thing as Venkman, except the belly's a bit bigger. Everything's the same, and the boots are a bit different. They're a lot cleaner. You can see all the different... Well, I like that, actually. They're glossy. You can see the different laces in the boots there. They're just kind of glossy, so it's hard to make out those details. But there's definitely some lacy in there. Different sculpting throughout here, but there is no, silver paint on the little buttons and stuff. And I mean, if you have the money, go buy some paint. Make sure you maybe sand it or prime it just a tiny bit on whatever spot you want to paint. And paint it and then let it sit for 24 hours and varnish it. You can just add little details or something. If you have a better way of doing it, comment below, but that's what I do. And, I mean, you can add in little details yourself if you want to. Because they're definitely lacking in some small details, just small paint details throughout the costume. The Proton Pack is fantastic, man. They painted the hell out of it. They did a fantastic job. But the actual suit has no shading, nothing. It's just a flat plastic color. But I mean, for the most part, that's what they were in the movie. They were just straight color. And it looks like the Ghostbusters. They did a good job. The sculpt work is pretty good, in my opinion. All the different wrinkles in the cloth and everything. All the different little pockets, like the cargo suit thing going on, cargo pants. All these little different compartments and shit. I think it would be cool though if they included more accessories. Like you get one tool with each figure. It would have been nice, like Zedeman, dude. He comes with the stream, man, to cross the streams. But we want to cross the streams. We want everyone to have a stream, When all of them look like they're firing their gun at some shit like the Build-A-Figure, which I will review eventually. So that's kind of a bummer. He's lacking accessories, but they're nice figures, so it makes up for it, I guess. There's some cool details, like I said, though, all throughout here. The straps look nice laying over him. They fit very snug. They honestly should have made this a little bit bigger if they're going to make his belly stick out a little bit more. The shoulder pads are painted the same as Venkman's, nice black, a gray color. Would have been nice if it was a bit darker, so it blended in a little less and kind of stood out. But they do stand out for the most part. I love how they sculpt Stantz on here. They sculpt the name tag and write Stantz on it. That's a very nice touch. I like that. And then you can see the little Ghostbusters logo on the side there. So it's just great all around. Only spot I'd say that's really visible is this piece of articulation here. It'd be nice if they did something more like that new Bestman Luke, or no, Battle Hoth Luke here. I don't know how everybody feels about this piece of articulation, but I think it really hides that rather than just exposes the articulation because he's in some really wrinkled pants. I personally like that, and the fact they sculpted this on the back here. That's a very well hidden joint, and I think this line of figures should take some notes from this guy right here. Very cool. Now, taking a look at Stantz's articulation, and I am leaving the Proton Pack on him because it is seriously a pain in the ass to put on and get off and mess with that little thing. So, and I mean, it doesn't really hinder the articulation very much because, well, you'll see it's not super articulated. But the head goes back about that far, so I mean, decent distance. Goes down, decent. Has a lot of neck pivot actually, so that's a nice touch. Can go all the way around. His arms go up and down all the way around. They do have a little butterfly joint, which is hiding in there. and it's a little bit tight. This one works a bit better, but it's a little bit tight. There is a swivel here at the tricep, bicep, whatever. There's a double jointed elbow, which is pretty tight. No articulation at the forearm, but there is articulation at the wrist. The little hinge that points down, which is just kind of annoying, especially for this hand, but works well for this hand. I appreciate it. But like I said, they don't go all the way down. They're kind of awkward where, while he's holding the gun, they almost seem like they want to come back up sometimes. Very annoying. And then there is a bit of a swivel here at the waist here. You can see it goes forward, like freaking not far at all, and doesn't go very far back. The proton pack isn't in the way, really. It just doesn't go very far back. And you can move him like side to side a little bit. So I mean, that piece of articulation to me makes the figure look more human in this movement. To me, I think that looks more natural, and I dig that. I like that articulation. If there's some way they can make it like move a little more, that'd be nice. But it looks nice for the most part. I dig that. So like I said, side to side, forward, back, you know, you can move them all the way around if you want to for whatever reason. Then you can go all the way out here. For the most part, there's a bit of a swivel here at the thigh, forward and back. Goes back pretty far too. Double jointed knees, those ugly ass knees. Oh, there we go. You can see here it's just flat, dude. That is just awful looking in my opinion. Like, oh god, I can't even bear to look at that. That is so ugly. Jesus, that's rough. But I mean, that's honestly, that's probably the worst part of all these figures, is that piece of articulation right there. Double jointed knees are fantastic and all, but not when they just take away from the look of the figure, in my opinion. I personally, that's just a me thing, maybe. I don't want the articulation to be that visible. You know, I feel like that Hoth Luke really accomplishes a lot of movement, enough movement, where you shouldn't be doing this. You know, if you can do that, don't do this. This is ugly as hell. But some people might disagree, and hey, that's okay. You can disagree and be like, dude, I want the double jointed knees. Fantastic, man. But otherwise, there's no articulation here at the shin or the calf. There is articulation at the ankle. You have a little pivot here and a hinge that goes down and forward pretty far, but there is no rotation or swivel below this thigh. So at the end of the day, would I buy this figure again for $20? Blues Brothers, you know, Great Outdoors, Ghostbusters, obviously. Need I say more? It's freaking Dan Aykroyd, Trading Places. He's a freaking movie legend, dude. Comedic legend. All his roles are fantastic. He was even in 50 First Dates. I love Dan Aykroyd. All his movies are fantastic. I love all his different shit on aliens or whatever. I mean, yes, it's Ghostbusters, but not only are you getting Ray Stantz from the Ghostbusters, you're getting Dan Aykroyd's head sculpt, you're getting his action figure. So, yeah, buy him. You'd be crazy if you didn't. It's freaking Dan Aykroyd, man. Awesome figure. I definitely 110% recommend you go out and buy this guy. He's a very, very cool figure to own. He's definitely fun to pose. He looks cool, aside from his double jointed knees. He has a nice little accessory with the goggles here. I definitely think these are a cool accessory. I think you can hook him on his belt here too, but they don't really stay on. And I mean, he's just fun as hell. It's a cool figure, and it looks a hell of a lot like him. So I definitely recommend you go out and buy Ray Stantz, dude, for sure. Anyways, thanks for watching this review. If you stayed till the end, I really appreciate it. You are a hero. I'm so happy you're still watching this. Thank you for watching. Please keep watching. Stay tuned, because I'm not done doing these reviews. We have quite a few more figures to go. 4 figures to go in this wave, and then a Build-A-Figure. So 5 reviews coming. So stay tuned for those. And if you want to stay tuned, please subscribe to this video. Like this video, comment, I will respond. Tell me your thoughts on this figure and this wave in general, the whole line of this, and the new Ghostbusters movie coming out. I don't know. I'm pretty excited to see what it is about. I'm not one for like sequels, 20-year-old movies, but dude, it's Ghostbusters. So dope. I love the Ghostbusters. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more, and most importantly, keep on collecting.